Paris Hilton's 43 years old. She's claiming, she just did an interview and she said that she's all natural, that she's never done any sort of Botox or fillers. Do you believe her? Because I do.
You do believe her. This is interesting. I mean,
I do. Welcome to the Hollywood Raw Podcast. My name is Adam Glyn. Not here today is Dax Holt. Dax Holt is on his 15th vacation of the year. I mean, the guy is something's going on with that trophy company's guy. It must be doing really, really well because he was where was he in Greece this summer, and now he's on a cruise. He's sitting around California driving his Tesla. I'm riding around in the back with a struggle bus, but I wasn't struggling too bad. Last week I was in California myself. I got to go to the Kelly Slater Surf Ranch. The most incredible thing. I'm not even joking. It was the most incredible thing I've ever been to. So cool. It's insane. It's in Lenora, California, which is a little over 3 hours northeast of LA. And I got to kind of mooch off a friend who has a company that is a sponsor of the ranch. And they have this sponsor day where a few of the sponsors get to go and kind of check out the ranch. So what is the Kelly Slater Surf Ranch? It's a man-made wave. It's the perfect wave. They designed it with scientists to kind of create this effect where it's just the cleanest, nicest wave. And they make it where there's intermediate waves. They make where there's hard waves, difficult waves. They can make easy waves, and they make sure everyone can surf. They have instructors in the water to kind of make sure everyone can surf. I'm not a good surfer. I surf, but I'm not good. But I can get up a decent amount. But you pull into this place. First of all, the night before, I stayed at a casino like 5 minutes away, this random casino. And then it's the middle of farmland, California. And you're like, where are you? And then there's these huge 2 Jurassic Park doors that sort of open up. And there's a narrow driveway. And like, where am I? In the middle of nowhere, there's this huge man-made wave that's, they say it's like 1,000 yards, but I don't even know how long it is. It felt like, I don't know, about a quarter mile in length, and it's a perfect wave. And the wave comes every 4 minutes, and there's about, 6 people in the water at a time. And everyone takes their time jumping on waves, and they have a jet ski kind of bringing people back and forth. And we surfed all day. The food was incredible. They have a full chef. And how much does it cost to do this for the day? It costs roughly about $50,000 to $70,000. $50,000 to $70,000 to rent it for the day. So it usually goes in groups of probably about, they say an average around 10 to 12 people. So it's about, $7,000 to $10,000 a person, depending on how many people are in the group. And you think that who's paying for this? They're booked like 320 days a year. It's insane. Actually, who was just there recently was Prince Harry. They were telling me Prince Harry was just surfing there with Jonah Hill and Andrew Garfield. Matthew McConaughey's been there. Everyone goes to this place. A lot of venture capitalists goes there. So the place was incredible. But yeah, that was in California. I was in California last week. I went out there for that, had some meetings, which, crossing fingers that some of these meetings go really well. And always when I'm out in LA, I always want to see celebrities out there. For a living, I chase around celebrities. But when I'm out there, I sort of want to see them in their own natural habitat. Did I run into any celebrities? I saw John Lovitz out there. I saw Robert Horry, the old basketball player there. I saw some of David Dobrik's friends, which is a big reality star. So I didn't run into any big celebrities out there, but I did go to Don Antonio, which is Spencer Pratt's favorite Mexican food. No bullshit. It's the best Mexican food. It's not even a crazy menu, but they make a great burrito. Like, how hard does they make a burrito? Well, this place makes a great burrito. They also make a great margarita, which for me, margaritas are my favorite drink. The problem is it's hard to find a place that makes good margaritas. There's great margaritas and there's shitty margaritas. And it's really hard to make a great margarita. But the perfect margarita is amazing, and their drinks are incredible. But Dax is away, and I'm still trying. Now I'm trying to catch up on TV. I'm watching this. I just started the John Bonet Ramsey documentary. Started watching this new Billy Bob Thornton show. But today's episode is a little bit of a random episode. I was debating of what I should do. Do I sit here and tell you about, we did this episode a while back where I told you that sometimes part of the ways I make money is that people pay me to go out to dinner with them, and I just tell stories of celebrities. So I'm leaning towards doing that, of telling celebrities, like basically looking at all the celebrities in the news and telling my tell my experience with them over the years. And people like that episode when I did it last. Before that, I want to go into a few news stories. And one of the news stories today is going on about Lindsay Lohan, about her look. She looks great. She looks incredible. But people are saying she did something surgically, plastic surgery to her face, or maybe to her body. But me personally, I have no issue with that. But I said, why would I discuss this by myself? Because I don't know. I'm not a plastic surgery expert. And honestly, if someone did it, I don't care either. But I wanted to bring my friend Nurse Tara on the podcast today. Nurse Tara is an incredible injector. She injects tons of celebrities, which she cannot talk about because, you sign away that you can't disclose the people you do. But I will say this, Tara, there's a story about Tara not too long ago about everyone goes to Nurse Tara before the Met Gala. She's based in New York City. She works on their 9C plastic surgery. Check out Nurse Tara on social media. Nurse Tara, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
So Nurse Tara does a lot of these facials, which she can describe exactly what are. They're not your normal type of facials, but this is what they call the Met Gala glow. It's before you go on a red carpet, you have to get this facial, which Tara will get into that. But I want to talk to Tara about Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, allegedly has maybe done some things to her face. She looks great. I don't judge it. She looks fabulous. She looks incredible. I'm a big Lindsay Lohan fan, even though me and her have had some wild interactions in the past because I used to cover her during the news during her heyday. But right now, she's a mom. She looks incredible. Tara, looking at Lindsay Lohan, what do you think she did?
I mean, I think that there has been a few things brewing over the years. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of rumors about some nip tuck, especially in the face. She definitely, has fluctuated in weight, which I think plays a big role. When you fluctuate in weight, you're getting saggier skin, tighter skin. So sometimes the only way to get rid of extra skin is to cut the skin. And what does that mean? That means you're doing a facelift. Again, I personally never treated her, but there is always a possibility that she's gone somewhere else, for that surgical facelift. I also think that she's definitely been upkeeping on her skincare since, like you said, her heyday, because her skin is flawless. A lot of those freckles, even with makeup on, there's not really a lot lingering. Fine lines and wrinkles are gone. That could have been a CO2, a Fraxel, like a really deep down laser that people do a lot in conjunction with facelifts or some face surgeries because you're already recuperating as it is. So I think that, and like maintenance of injectables, I think that her lifestyle is a lot cleaner than what it was. And I think that between surgery, face related skincare, like lasers, and just a healthier intake of life, that's the trio that she's doing right now.
Yeah, so she's 38 years old. She is a mother. Let's start with the skin. Skincare is very important. Tara, you're an expert in skincare. You have very good skin. A lot of times your diet could change. So I guess you don't have as much, your face won't store as much fat, but her skin, you do a lot of the laser, in your office at 9C Plastic Surgery, you do a lot with the laser. Can you laser off the freckles or the lines in your head? Obviously you're an injector, so you actually do the laser yourself, and you also do fillers and Botox. But like growing up, she had all these freckles. Now you see her, and it could be makeup covering up. You don't see it as much. Is that something laser could take away, or how does that work exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are doing a pretty intense laser, like a CO2, definitely it can reduce those fine lines, those freckles. You really won't notice that sun damage. I also think, a lot of these photos that are being looked at are photos from when she really was not taking care of her skin, not taking care of her body. She was highly dehydrated. Your skin is going to look worse. I mean, now hyaluronic acid fillers have also been injected, and that's going to immediately plump your skin. So again, it's a combination of a deep CO2 or Fraxel type laser that's removing those freckles, and then she's gotten some hydration.
So that filler you said, how much roughly? Because again, myself, a lot of people don't know how much something like that ranges in cost. Roughly, Tara, how much? If you're going to do those type of fillers, how does that work cost wise?
So we at Nicest Plastic Surgery, we charge by syringe. People come once, twice a year. So on average, a syringe is $1,000 to $1,200. Let's say you're getting 3 a year. 3,600 times 3, or 3,600. A year times how many years you're doing it.
I mean, listen, it does make a difference, and you're only, I guess, you're gonna do it, what, twice a year per se. So Tara, when you start something like this, is this something that's you have to maintain? Would you look terrible if you stop doing it? Do you have to do it for the rest of your life? How does it exactly work? I mean, I'm just stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah.
No. Well, you're not gonna look terrible if you stop doing it, but you will still slowly start to see, after that 6 month to 8 month window, you're not gonna be as plump and full, let's say in the cheeks, jawline, or wherever she might have been getting it. But we are seeing from other facial plastic surgeons that it is lasting a lot longer than we originally thought. They're getting in there to do a patient's facelifts, and they're saying, "Hey, I'm seeing filler that I put in there 4 or 5 years ago. Who knew hyaluronic acid, filler could last that long?" So we are always learning on these products, and we're kind of giving these patients a little bit more of a timeline of, hey, if you're going to get a facelift, you should stop filler X amount of time in advance, and that comes up to the provider's choice.
So Lindsay has admitted to dabbling with laser, Morpheus, and IPL. What is IPL? And maybe you even already touched on it, but in Morpheus, what is Morpheus exactly?
So Morpheus is radio frequency microneedling. So it's typically a stamper of a bunch of little needles to get hot, and when they're injected into or stamped into the surface by a machine, it's not handheld per se, by my own force. It heats up the skin. It's going to damage the skin, which is going to tighten and regenerate new skin cells. So it's typically a package of 3 or 4. Morpheus is a little bit of an outdated technology. You've been hearing it in the media for a couple of years now. Some of the newer options are like Secret Pro, which is by Cutera, which is the most updated technology, and that's going to give you the tightest skin, really, and firm along the jawline.
So Paris Hilton, I want to get into with you. Paris Hilton's 43 years old now, which is crazy because I feel like we've been kind of seeing Paris for so long. We've been with her majority of her life at this point.
Yeah.
But Paris Hilton's 43 years old. She's claiming, she just did an interview, and she said that she's all natural, that she's never done any sort of Botox or fillers. Do you believe her? Because I do.
You do believe her. This is interesting. I mean,
I do. I'm going to tell you why I believe her first, and then I want you to give your opinion just by looking at her. Here's why I believe her. Here's someone who grew up with money. So I feel like at the age of 14, this girl was getting facials once a week at the age of 14. She also knew the dangers of the sun. She stayed out of the sun as much as possible. Obviously, there's the stress level that she had is not so. I can't imagine having that much stress because she has all the means. She's able to kind of have a good diet. She didn't have to have food wise. I'm sure she was able to get to afford costly, good food. So with all that stuff and using good chemicals on her face, as far as her skin means, is able to help her kind of have that glow. I mean, I remember back when Paris was young in her mid-20s, she had this sort of like natural skin glow. So what is your thoughts on Paris on saying that she never had any work done on her face? Do you believe that?
okay, so I also am thinking along the same lines as you. I don't think she's had anything done. I do think she maybe has dabbled with more medical grade skincare and medical grade treatments behind the scene. I don't think she's going to Botox. I think that's like kind of, something that she would have just said off the bat that she's doing. I agree that she has the resources from a diet perspective. The only thing that kind of shocked me was, she's a nightlife girl. She was a DJ. You know, you're working out all the hours of the night, you're going to get dehydrated. Her skin doesn't show at all. And that could be to, like you said, years and years of great facials, medical grade skincare, or just good genetics. I don't think she's gone under the knife. I just think that her face hasn't changed other than natural aging, kind of. I'd be interested to see if she's ever gotten any treatments where they put a neurotoxin in the treatment, so she's not getting it injected, but like maybe they're shrinking her pores a little bit, like I put in my aqua gold treatments, which is what patients are getting before the Met Gala. So I wonder if it's being infused into her body in other ways, but not injected.
Interesting. Now, I'm always curious. I don't judge personally what celebrities do when it comes to plastic surgery. I'm more curious, but I also respect where sometimes they don't want to discuss it either. I think it's a very interesting, unique thing where it goes down to the person. Do they want to discuss what they did? If not, but if they do, I don't judge them either. If they're able to have the means to afford it. I know there's been a lot of accusations about Christina Aguilera recently, who looks fantastic as well. I mean, but Christina Aguilera is one of those people that we don't see often. So when she comes out, you're like, man, you forget about her because when she wants to be seen, she gets to be seen. But it's interesting that these people are able to do it and then come back and like, whoa. But Another person I've been seeing recently, which is a little bit different, is Bradley Cooper. I saw him on the red carpet recently, and like, what did Bradley Cooper do? Like, there's something unique about him. And the guy is at an age where he should have gray in his hair, and he doesn't. And I'm like, well, how is this guy? Is he getting his hair colored every week? Or, I mean, his hair is just unique in itself. I mean, his hair has like a youthful look. What do you think Bradley Cooper is doing with his hair?
So I was looking at some pretty distinct photos where his hairline has changed. It almost looks like he got maybe like a hair transplant, just because he doesn't have like the receding hairlines in that exact like male pattern balding position here. His hairline's pretty straight across now, almost leaning that he had one, maybe two hair transplants. It looks fabulous.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks great. But do you think he did anything around the eyes or face at all? Or do you think a guy like that gets filler or Botox? The other thing about it is, like, for you, Tara, again, you work a lot of exclusive elite people. I didn't know if those people get that type of work done because, forehead lines are sort of like something important when it comes to acting. So I didn't know if those people still get that, or maybe they get minimal amount of work done on their skin like that because it affects their work.
I don't think he had Botox. He does have those lines at rest, which usually indicates that if he got Botox, it was once, maybe twice, because typically they go away pretty fast if you do it pretty quick or pretty often. I think he's doing a lot of medical grade skincare, maybe some skin treatments. But again, like you said, actors and actresses, and I have patients who walk in here all the time who say, like, hey, this is my line of work. I need to make sure I can, make certain facial movements or, expression. So those patients of mine typically aren't doing a whole bunch of neurotoxins. They're doing more of the skincare route.
Yeah, Tara, we talked about it earlier and when we first jumped on with you. You do this red carpet glow, the Met Gala glow they call it, and it's basically this facial that people need to get before they go on the red carpet. A lot of celebrities, a lot of models do it. Can you tell me more about what this procedure, this facial is?
Absolutely. So it's the aqua gold facial, and we actually just started adding PRP, which is the plasma-rich proteins from your blood. So right now what we're doing is you're coming in for an appointment. We're drawing your blood. We're spinning your blood to get that plasma out. So that's what's really giving it that nice aqua gold color. And then we are adding hyaluronic acid for hydration and a little bit of Botox. And that is going to help shrink your pores, tighten your skin, and produce more collagen. And it gives you no downtime. You actually leave the office with an amazing glow. And that's why patients are able to go straight from the office right to the Met Gala.
So how long does that glow usually last?
Usually about 30 days. And the fact that we're adding the plasma now is amazing because you're only going to continue to get and see more and more results the more you do it.
Interesting. So people coming, like, obviously you're in New York City, you work in a good market. Do people come at least like once a month to do something like this?
For sure. Between aqua gold or like a moderate laser, people are coming once a month. They want to maintain like great skin complexion, reduce fine lines and wrinkles.
Roughly, how much does something like this go for?
So an aqua gold facial, I believe, is about $1,200.
$1,200 are going once a month. And again, this is not a facial where you walk out and you're getting massaged and pampered. I mean, but this is a facial that actually does legit work, long-term work for you. So that's the difference with these type of facials.
100%. And if I'm putting, some Dysport or some Botox in it, that off the bat is going to shrink your pores for the next 3 to 4 months. So you're getting those benefits.
Tara, I got one last question for you. If I got a little bit of money, or maybe if I don't have a lot of money, and I want to get the treatment that all celebrities are getting, I want to look like a celebrity, I want to feel like a celebrity, what's the one thing that you recommend them try or do?
I would definitely do the PRP, the aqua gold. That's going to give you the glowing skin. And I'm not afraid of a little baby Botox. I think that is going to give you, that glowing skin, no wrinkles. You can still have full movement, but you're going to have a glowing forehead, very shiny. And, it just is going to give you that photogenic appearance.
Healthy. I get it. Nurse Tara NYC on Instagram, at Nurse Tara NYC on her Instagram. She's also on TikTok. She's one of my favorite people to follow on social media because she breaks it down, makes it easy so you understand it. And most importantly, she does good work. She works at a 9 plastic surgery. Nurse Tara, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Adam, for having me.
All right. That was Nurse Tara. Follow Nurse Tara at Nurse Tara NYC. That's her Instagram. She works with a lot of celebrities. I always tell people, if you go into 9 plastic surgery, 25% of the time, you'll probably run into a familiar face or two, but they work with a lot of people. They can't really say the names. Actually, what they do is they don't say the names that come there unless the names say where they went, but they don't out people for the plastic surgery. Nor do I. I mean, honestly, if people do plastic surgery, I don't care what they do. Whatever makes them feel good, go for it. I don't judge. I'm just me being the curious person I am. I'm just curious what they did just so I can learn what they did. For example, I always say The Rock. I don't care if you do roids or what you do. Just tell me what you're taking. And understandably so, you want to take it the safe way, but I'm just curious in exactly what you're doing. This just in, Liam Payne, apparently. Obviously, Liam Payne passed away recently. He fell off a balcony. He was under the substance. We all know that stuff. But apparently, he was trying to escape his hotel, which, it's just a wild thing to think of. Why would this guy want to escape his hotel? So back, I guess, in his One Direction days, Liam Payne hated being locked up in a hotel. Now, there's video of him in a lobby at his hotel in Argentina. In the hotel lobby, he obviously is not himself. He's acting very weird. He's standing up straight. So the hotel security, again, there's surveillance video of this. This is not something I'm just saying out. There's surveillance video of him in the lobby. He's standing up straight. But then all of a sudden, 3 hotel employees had to carry him to his door, not just like basically push him into his room because they felt that he was a liability, that he was a threat to himself. So they thought maybe the safest thing is just put him in his room. But then they called the hotel, according to the witnesses. There was a police report and a 911 call and surveillance video that said that the hotel workers called the police department saying, hey, we put him in his room, that he could be a threat to himself with a balcony, which is not the smartest thing to do. So basically, if you look at the screenshots from the Casa Sur Palermo Hotel in Buenos Aires, which was Liam fell to his demise, I guess you could say. Liam, who is disruptive in the lobby and clearly under influence, is splayed out at 3 hotel workers carrying him to his room minutes before he fell to his death. Liam is clearly conscious. He's not unconscious. He was conscious when they carried him to his room. So his head was upright. And just 2 minutes before he was carried, Liam was standing upright in the lobby. The hotel employees got Liam to his room. He struggled with them. And it's weird. The employees knew that he was kind of at risk. So they took a mirror from the room. They put it outside his room so he wouldn't damage it. They used a master key to get into his room and put him inside, which I don't know if that would have been the safest thing to put a guy who's under a substance, lock him in a room and call the police. I think you'd maybe want to just keep him in your surveillance and then call the police just to make sure that everything would be handled right. But the hotel employees called the police after saying, hey, listen, he's under the substance apparently, and we put him in his hotel room, but there is a balcony. You could tell by the video that Liam did not want to be in his room. He didn't, he was kind of pushing away based on the photos you're seeing. He's using his arms. Like it was a struggle to get him in his room. But according to the 911 transcript, the hotel employee said, I don't know whether his life may be in danger. He's in a room with a balcony. Well, we're a little afraid. So the hotel employees left Liam alone inside the room when he fell to his death. It's apparent he was trying to escape via the balcony. So he's trying to get out of the room. So he figured maybe he'd jump from the balcony and kind of be okay. But because when his body was found, he had a bag strapped around his shoulder, which was not on him when he was carried away from the lobby. So when they carried him from the lobby, he did not have a strap on his arm, a bag on his arm. So I guess he was bringing the bag to escape the room. Police also found a hat on or near Liam's body. The hat is telling that he had to put that hat on inside the room because it wasn't on in the lobby. It seems Liam was trying to get from the 3rd floor balcony to the 2nd floor balcony and then jump a short distance to the ground. The theory is supported by the police report, which says 2 days after Liam's death, a hotel employee went to the 2nd room floor right before Liam and discovered a brown leather bag, not the brown strap on his shoulder, on the balcony with a note inside that said, for Liam, along with various pills and a bottle of Jack Daniels. The report also says that the bag belonged to Liam, so presumably he dropped the bag down to the 2nd floor balcony before attempting to drop down himself. The coroner says Liam may have been unconscious when he fell, but he was clearly conscious when he strapped the bag to his shoulder inside his room and walked to the balcony. One source with direct knowledge believes that Argentinian authorities are trying to protect the hotel. That's interesting, that they think that the Argentinian authorities are trying to protect the hotel And that's why they've gone after 3 people, a friend, a waiter, and then hotel employee who allegedly supplied Liam with drugs. The sources believe the hotel bears responsibility for allegedly caring more about the disruption in the lobby and protecting hotel property than caring about Liam's safety. The hotel has said no comment regarding the allegations. So, yeah, is the Argentinian, this goes back into all the conspiracy stuff. Well, is the Argentinian police trying to protect the hotel and protect their reputation? Because this is very unique now that I guess he did not want to be there. And you would think the smart thing would would just call the police. If I see a drunk person in a room or someone wasted, I don't just lock them in a closet and just say, hey, we got someone wasted in the closet, go help. You keep an eye on them and you call the police. So I think I'm surprised this story did come out. We're recording this on a Monday. This story just came out. I'm surprised the story is not getting a lot more heat than it should because it's pretty insane. But I think we have to stay tuned to see what else comes from this. But this definitely goes into more of the questions around Liam Payne's death. You know what's so funny? This brings me back to a story, which is going to go on to what today's episode is. There was a celebrity, a comedian actor who always had drug issues, but who I knew. And he was very public about his drug issues. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to bring that kind of negative attention to them because I don't know where they're at now. I don't know what they're doing. I haven't spoken to this person in a long time, but I had a relationship with this person, a friendship, not a sexual relationship, a friendship with this person. But I haven't talked to this person. I haven't talked to them in a long time. So I don't want to say their name in case I bring any weird attention to them. But this celebrity was leaving. I ran into them leaving a Sirius Radio, and they're leaving with other 2 stars from a show they were promoting. And the celebrity sees me, Adam, how you doing? I'm like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Good. Hey, Adam, let's go for a walk. I'm like, which was weird because the other 2 celebrities had cars waiting for them. This celebrity had a car for them too, but they didn't want to go in their car. Like, why wouldn't you just go in your SUV that they had waiting for you? You're on a press run. You have to do media today. Anyway, the celebrity says, hey, let's go for a walk. We go for a walk. And I try to talk to the celebrity, and they're just like not with it. It's a very odd, weird conversation. They weren't present. And then all of a sudden, as we go for a walk for about 15 minutes, we're in Times Square, and the celebrity goes, hey, listen, I got to take a nap. And I'm like, hey, if you got to take a nap, I have an office around the corner. Why don't you come take a nap in my office? You sleep on the couch. I'll close the door. Do whatever you want to do in the office. They're like, no. I'm going to get a hotel room. I'm like, okay, you're going to get a hotel room in Times Square. Just take a nap right now. I mean, you got to do another press interview in 90 minutes. But I was like, okay. And we went to the hotel, the nearest hotel in Times Square. Somebody walks in, hey, I need a room right now. They gave him a room. They said, hey, what's the credit card on file? And the celebrity, yeah, it was he didn't have their credit card. So it was, hey, Adam, let me use your credit card. And again, I don't have a lot of money. Dax is the guy with a lot of money. He's on another cruise. Like I said, he's on his 7th vacation of the year. He drives a Tesla. He's doing well. I don't have a lot of money, but I do have a credit card. And I gave my credit card it didn't feel good giving my credit card. And it was like over $400 bill. And it's expensive. $400 is $400. And I put my credit card down, and the celebrity went up to their room and crashed there and for a little bit. But when they went up to the room, I went on IMDb, which is a site where you could get access to every single celebrity's representation. I called the celebrity's publicist, and I left a message. I said, my name, I just want to let you know, this is where the person is in case you can't find them. They asked, and I told them the whole story on the voicemail. Like, this is where they're at. They used my credit card. This is where they're at. They said they have more press to do, but they need to take a nap. I just want to let you know where they're at in case anything were to happen. Because again, God forbid the person was found dead in the hotel room and it's under my bill, under my credit card. That would be terrible. Fortunately, the celebrity did not pass. But it's funny, I didn't talk to the celebrity the rest of the day, and I called the hotel like at 12 at night that night. And they actually wound up crashing there later that night as well. And they did make their interview, I guess, later that day. But the celebrity never paid me back until I kind of like told a friend about it. And that celebrity got pissed at me and said, oh, really, you're going to talk shit about me? I'm like, man, you owed me like $450. Like, you would think the courtesy thing was to hit me up the next day and like, hey, here, wire me or Venmo me some money. But we had a weird falling out, but I guess we're cool again. But I haven't seen the celebrity in a long time. But that was my incident dealing with a celebrity who was under the substance, and that's what I did. Now the hotel did with Liam Payne. What do? They locked him in a hotel room and just called the cops. A hotel room with a balcony. Stupid move, stupid decision. And now I guess the allegations are the Argentinian cops trying to protect the hotel, maybe for their travel industry. I don't know, but pretty crazy. All right. So I did this episode a while back where, again, I said in the beginning, part of my income, a small part of my income, is going out to dinner with people who want to like pay me to go to dinner with them and tell some of my stories and hear my perspective, answer some questions regarding entertainment news, celebrities. They want to hear my side, my experiences, and I have tons of experiences with celebrities. And that time when I did one episode and people liked it, I kind of went through Daily Mail. And I just looked at like the biggest celebrities of the week, and I figured I'd do that with you guys today while Dax is away. So I'm going to go to Daily Mail. I'm going to check out the stories of the day and see the celebrities on there and tell you about my experiences with them. First one is Megan Fox. Megan Fox, I feel like she's always been a little bit anti-paparazzi. However, she's very cool. She's super nice, very cool. The first time I met her, she was doing, I think it was the Ninja Turtles. And I didn't even I was expecting her to be kind of an asshole or a bitch. Instead, there was like a few fans waiting outside for autographs. And she was like so happy to sign autographs. In fact, I felt like it got her excited to sign autographs. It felt like it was one of those things where I got in this business to make like for moments like this. And she was super nice. And then I ran into her. I saw I think it was during Fashion Week in New York City. And she was at the Bowery Hotel. And I saw earlier in the day, I saw her kind of doing media and I saw her going to this car. And then later that day, I was at the Bowery Hotel and I saw the car that she got into waiting outside the Bowery Hotel. And I was like, I'm going to stand here for a second, see what happens. I think this is Megan Fox. And sure enough, Megan Fox came out and I was the only one there. I go, hey, Megan, can I get a photo with you? And she goes, yeah, absolutely. And she takes a photo and not only just like takes like your normal photo next to me where like they just maybe fake smile. She does this photo where she sticks her tongue out. And it was like those little things that go a long way because it, for me as a career, it makes it seem like we're a lot closer than we are and we're not. I mean, I was just a guy who just asked her for a photo. But she was very cool. She made the photo fun and just like Instagrammable and just cool. And then actually I ran into her in Vegas this past year at the Super Bowl. She was walking through the casino with Machine Gun Kelly. And I ran up to her and said, hey, Megan, can I get I think I even said, can I get a photo with her? I had my camera in my hand. I wasn't even trying to interview her because I didn't want to bring too much attention to her. And honestly, she said this, and she said it in such a real cool way. She was like, honestly, I would do it, but it's so crazy right now. And honestly, I need to kind of watch MGK or because Colton, I think she called him Colton, because I think he almost just got into a fight. So we're just trying to like chill out at the moment. Like it was just something just happened 2 minutes before I ran into them. And she just wanted to have like a calm moment for her and Colton. And I respected her because she didn't like talk down to me. She talked to me like as a friend and she doesn't know who I am by any means, but I just remember her being as cool as you wanted her to be. No ego, nice, fun, and just happy to be there. Like happy to be doing what she's doing, especially the first time I met her when she was signing autographs. Like I think to her, it was still cool for like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm signing autographs. I'm going down right now on Daily Mail right now to see any other celebrities on here. Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande, I've seen, it's really interesting because I feel like I've seen so many different chapters of Ariana Grande. I mean, I saw her like when she was dating Pete Davidson, and then you see what she is now. It's like two different Ariana Grandes. I feel like that's a whole documentary, the evolution of Ariana Grande's career. But she was very calculated. And I'm not saying that was because Scooter Braun was in her career, but she would only be seen when she wanted to be seen. We never got tips on her, like just walking around town or just hanging out. She lived in this building that had, it was in the 20s, that had like, she could be totally discreet. She could always hide. And it was very unique. I actually think she lived in that building with Pete, and she was just very, very hidden. And she was nice to the fans, but you notice like how the niceness changed with Ariana Grande. When she first came out, hi, always like that, high-pitched high, took photos of everyone. And then it started to change a little bit as her career started to bloom. And I feel like at one point, it started to get a little bit cold. But I feel like as of late, she's been very nice. But it could be because she's promoting Wicked. And I've seen her on like some carpets, and I feel like she's being very nice to the fans. But I'm happy she's doing well. Next on the list is Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz. I'm seeing them in the site on Daily Mail. Their bar, what's it called? TomTom. I actually just drove by it in LA. Good location, but the bar is closing after they spent $1 million on the bar. I mean, it's a tough time to open a bar. Number two, I just think they're hoping that that audience would really come to their bar. But I think it was tough for the bar, obviously, to open. It was a tough time for business in the alcohol industry. So unfortunately, the bar is closing. You always want people to do well. But I drove by their bar. It's a good location. I'm not surprised it closed, but how many people are saying, hey, let's get a drink. Let's go to this bar, TomTom. I think it was catered too much to a Bravo reality audience. But maybe I thought it could have been the location. The cost of putting in a bar in that area was just so expensive. That's why I closed. Anyway, Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz, I feel like when you met them, they're the guys you want them to be. Now, I'm not saying Tom Sandoval's a great guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy either. He's the guy you see on TV. And in fact, that's what makes him likable and unique and makes him wanting you to watch him more. I've interviewed both on the streets of New York City. I've last saw Tom Sandoval. I actually saw Sandoval. I interviewed him in Vegas. Super nice guy. And then I saw him in New York recently. I saw his band play, and they were good. But he makes it fun for the fans. I respect that they're both good to the fans because there's nothing worse than seeing, especially reality stars that are dicks to fans. But they always stop for photos, especially like Tom Sandoval when he performed recently. He brings his microphone into the crowd, performs like right next to people, and gives people that Instagram moment where how cool of a video, you singing to a microphone with Tom Sandoval. You paid to go see him. I don't know how much the ticket was, but it goes pretty cool. And Tom Schwartz, I mean, the guy could walk around, and I think maybe about 5% of people know who he is. But again, nice guy. Like, that's not against the 5% know who he is. They go towards a Bravo audience, and they're really nice. Next, I'm seeing The Rock. The Rock. Man, The Rock is, I have a sense, The Rock is, it's difficult with The Rock. The Rock, you want him to, I know it's difficult. I have to put myself in his shoes, and it's difficult probably being him to kind of please everyone. And I get it. With that said, he's not the guy you want him to be. Because again, he's, I don't want to say he's my hero, but he's a guy I kind of admired and respected. I grew up with him. But the first time I met The Rock, he was sort of easy and approachable. Like, he didn't really hide. He walked the streets. And I have a photo of me and The Rock, and he posed, and it was super cool, fun photo. He was always very nice to me. And then, it's just funny, my first photo of The Rock, he actually commented on my social media. He's like, hey, buddy, stop posing. Like, you look constipated. Great seeing you. And then all of a sudden, he just became really hard to get to. And I've emailed this team to, like, do interviews with them when they're on red carpets and get on red carpets. And when he's done me, like, let me be a quick 2-minute interview on the street. I've always been nice to him. I've always been respectful to him. And they don't get back to me. And I could say, hey, it's not The Rock, it's the Publicist, but I kind of go hand in hand because the people around you kind of sums up what kind of people you are. And then one day I was on a bike, and The Rock was it was during the upfront week, and I was on my bicycle, and The Rock was in the car next to me. And I was like, everyone's like, oh, The Rock's in the car next to you. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I want him to see me with my camera and like, hey man, can I get a minute with you? Like, once you get out of the car. And he definitely saw me, but he ignored me. And I was like, come on, man. I've always been cool to you. I'm a guy just trying to hustle. I'm promoting what you do. I make viral content. And I feel like The Rock will, if there's a garage, he will take the garage every single time. He'll try to avoid people at all times. And I understand that too, because the guy can't probably walk anywhere because he'll get mobbed and people want to ask him, stop him for something. And I'm sure it's frustrating for him, but it's, it just sucks. He's not the guy you want him to be. He's not the guy you thought he would be. My neighbor's dog is going nuts, but oh God, I hate this. Anyway, so yeah, this is that's The Rock. Who else is on this list? Jay Leno, nice. You see the bruises on his face? Those are some gnarly bruises. Jay Leno is a very nice guy. Now, if you're another late night host, they all talk smack about Jay Leno. But every time I met him when I was 12 years old on an NBC tour, and he was a nice guy then. And when we see him now, he's so regular guy that he's one of those people, like if he's doing interviews, he just shows up by himself, stops, does photos of everyone, he'll talk to you, not just like give you one. Like he talks to people. He's like such a regular Joe. Nice, like great guy. Kelly Osbourne, very cool. In fact, it's so funny. Dax and I were supposed to have dinner with Kelly Osbourne. Next time we were both in LA together. We were like, she wanted to like hear about our career and what happens and how it works. But Kelly Osbourne's always been super cool and chill. I'm seeing Kim Kardashian on Daily Mail. Kim Kardashian. Dax and I are the biggest pro Kardashian people. I would say, not say pro Kardashian people, pro Kim Kardashian people, because she is very sweet. She is very nice. She works hard. She's good to people. I've seen her tip well. I've seen her go out of her way to tip people. I've seen like she doesn't hide. She just goes through life. And I feel like she at the end of the day, she's a really good person. And I'll tell you what, to be on the sidelines, to watch Kim Kardashian's career, to see her being, when I first started, she flew commercial and she was a normal person. She'd wander around, to keep up the Kardashians. It was like, it was a girl trying to make it. And now all the other celebrities out there are all kissing her ass because they just want to be in her circle. They want to learn from her. They want to be friends with her. They want to be in business with her. I mean, the biggest stars in the world are hitting them up. And at first they were kind of laughed on, but now they're billionaires. Like, they're worth more than the celebrities that were shitting on them for so long. So P. Diddy never was a good guy, never cool, never nice. I met him one day when I was at MTV back in the day, and he gave me a fake hug on TV, and that was it. It was like he was host. Actually, it's a funny story. My freshman year of college, I used to go to MTV all the time. They're filming TRL, and I used to go there all the time because they liked my energy, and I would go and dance during the in between commercial breaks and kind of entertain the crowd. I was almost like a free audience warm up for them. Then one day they said to me, "Hey, listen, next week we want to send you on a. Are you a baseball fan?" I said, "Yeah, sure. We're going to send you to the World Series, and Diddy's hosting. He's going to surprise you on TV." And Diddy was the host, and basically did this fake surprise on TV, like, "You're going to the World Series next week to cover the MTV, cover the World Series for TRL." And Diddy gave me like a fake hug. But like everything to him was like calculated. Like he was never present, which again, I struggle with that as well, but he was just not really fully committed to it. He was just he was just not a good guy. And it's funny, like you see him on the streets. I would see him on the streets of New York. This is back when they had the Bad Boy office, which used to be right across from Letterman and Colbert. I would see Diddy sometimes going in and out of the car. For his guy who had as much money as him, this doesn't sound bizarre. For a guy who had as much money as him, he always seemed dirty to me. Not like dirty as like his business or what he did. Like I'm saying like hygiene dirty. Like he always wore black shirts that had lint all over itself. The car was always dirty. The inside of the car when the doors opened were always dirty. It was so bizarre. I was like, dude, how does this guy worth so much money and always like wearing shirts with lint all over it? Like get a lint roller. Just wear a new black shirt. Like it was just surprising. But that is my P. Diddy story. All right, going back down here, I'm seeing Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, there's a story about Bill Clinton. It says Bill Clinton's forward response to Taylor Swift's impact after attending the Eras tour in Toronto. I'm not going to read the story, but I've met pretty much every single president except Obama or Biden, which is like, what? But I haven't met George W. Bush, but I saw him, and from the window, he started making funny faces at me, which was fun. It was funny. I mean, he was having fun with it. He didn't make it in mean spirits. I've met Jimmy Carter, which Jimmy Carter was a very nice guy, is a very nice guy, still around with us, but very nice guy. Actually, when Jimmy Carter flies commercial, he goes up and down the plane and shakes everyone's hand before he takes his seat, which I think is very cool for someone to shake a president's hand. Met Trump. I got a few stories on Trump. Last time I met him, he was actually a very nice guy, I have to say. Like we talked everything but politics. I met him on the golf course. He was great, very cool, very man of the people, very relaxed. Just wasn't very political, but I respect that. Like it was cool. Bill Clinton, though, back to Bill Clinton's on story. So what happens with Bill Clinton? I used to get tips from this building where Bill Clinton had an office, and they would let me know when Bill was coming, and I would run to the building and just I couldn't interview Bill because I know he wouldn't talk on camera, and it's just not worth putting a camera. Guys, I don't want to be a dick and put a camera on him because I knew he wouldn't talk to me. But instead, I put myself in a position where he had to walk by me. But the key to Bill Clinton was you have to put yourself in a position where he's going to walk by. You can't stand too close to him. You can't stand too close to the door. But if he saw you on the side, he'd come over and take a photo with you. And that's exactly what he's done. And I actually have a few photos of Bill Clinton, of a few signed baseballs from Bill Clinton. And the Secret Service will come up to you before and say, hey, just don't approach. Like he kind of knows what's up, I'm like, yeah, sure. And I would stand probably about 15 feet away. And I'd send on my camera out and Bill would see me. And one time he knew like to come over real quick for a selfie. And then another time, I was like, hey, Bill, and he doesn't like talk much. He's not a very loud speaker, but he would come and take a photo with me. And I got a few photos of him, but he was very nice. It's funny. I just got a tip on Monica Lewinsky on the airplane, which I'm going to see if I can send another photographer to get the shots, but I don't want to get the shots, but I don't know, this flight. It's so funny. This is the information that I get. I'm going down a lot of housewife stuff, and I don't get excited for the housewives stuff. I mean, I've met a lot of housewives. They're all the same person to me. If I had to pick a favorite housewife from my experiences, I've had fun with Melissa Gorga. I mean, she's the only one who I really know. And I've seen her at parties. I've danced with her. Like, she's fun. With that said, she won't come on the podcast. So what do I think of her? Like, it's weird that I've reached out to her so many times to come on the podcast and she won't come on. Yet again, like, I see her at parties and everything's cool. And I'm sort of like, I might say it to her in person, like, I've asked you to come on the podcast, Melissa. Come on the podcast. Your husband, Joe, has been on the podcast. Teresa's very nice too. I mean, every time I deal with Teresa, she's nice and she's been on the podcast. Lindsay Lohan. So obviously we talked about Lindsay Lohan earlier in the podcast. I like Lindsay Lohan. In fact, I think Lindsay Lohan is a fantastic actress. I think that thing that hurt her career is we found as an actress, when your personal life becomes bigger than your professional life, no one could see you for the roles you're going to play. And I think that's what hurt Lindsay. But with that said, when I started getting into this business, Lindsay Lohan was during her heyday. She was getting arrested. She was out partying. You never knew what was going on between the parents. Dina and her father were always fighting. I remember going to Dina's house. She lived in Long Island. It was pretty far from the city, like maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours from the city. And they lived right next to an elementary school. The house, I guess that's where Lindsay grew up. I'm assuming that's where Lindsay grew up. It was a nice house. It wasn't like a crazy house. It wasn't a bad house by any means. But it was a nice house. But it wasn't a mansion by any means. It was a normal, nice house. But it was right next to an elementary school. And I had to wait outside there all day with like other entertainment outlets waiting for Lindsay Lohan if she was there to come out, which she never came out. And I remember the area they lived, it was a very just residential neighborhood. All the neighbors were curious and had questions, and like, which I'm sure is embarrassing for the Lohan family. But then one day Lindsay was doing an appearance. She was getting paid to appearance at this like catering hall in Long Island. And Dina was there. And Dina was like, hey, listen, it was actually like close to the Hamptons. And Dina was like, hey, listen, just wait around. We'll get you. Or Dina, the interview was for Dina or Lindsay. It might have been for Dina. So Dina, I ran into like a 10 at night. And at this time, like Dina Lohan was getting paid appearances for showing up to venues at this point. So Dina was said at like 10 at night, hey, I'll give you an interview. All right, no problem. This is on a Friday night. 11:30 p.m. Yeah, I'll get you later. 12:30, 1 a.m. Yeah, I'll get you later. Now it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, Dina, can we just bang this? I want to go home. And she's like, yeah, I don't feel like doing it. I'm like, I just stayed here for 3.5 hours. You want to do this interview? And I remember it was like a whole thing. And I remember like, actually, it was the first time maybe the second time I ever got into like, I remember like trying to get the interview and they were like pushing me away, like kind of like really like, hey, you can't be here anymore. And Dina kept me there all night, then didn't want to do the interview. But I did run into Dina maybe about 2 years ago, and we had like this sort of like recollection of like, we look back at that time and it was a crazy time where it's just like, we're cool with each other. And she's very nice and she's very sweet. And I appreciate like we could look back at that time during the crazy times of the Lohan and just laugh at it and be like, man, I can't believe we both survived. And I wish I could have that conversation with Lindsay saying, man, remember that time when I was covering you and you were going through your stuff? And what a crazy time that was. And we did that with Teresa Giudice. Teresa Giudice had that where, I covered Teresa during the worst moment of her life when she got, when she was going to jail. I was there. Now we're able to sit years later and kind of laugh about it and kind of talk about that experience in her career and her life. So that was a unique thing. All right. Going down, I see Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Brad Pitt, by the way, they have that movie they did, the Wolves movie, which they canceled the sequel. It was funny because when they're filming this movie, they filmed in New York. I was so excited. You're talking about George Clooney and Brad Pitt in a movie. That movie's got to be a good script. This movie's got to be amazing. It's going to Apple TV. It's got to be incredible. What amazing 2 stars in the movie. And the movie came out and no one even knew about it. And I guess people knew it. These guys knew it wasn't a good movie. So they're not going to put as much gas in the movie. And even before the movie came out, they already said, we're going to do a sequel. Now they're saying they're no longer going to do a sequel for this film. Anyway, Brad Pitt, very tall in person. He's like a statue. Good-looking guy. I mean, not just good-looking, incredibly looking guy. like it's just like, wow, that's Brad Pitt. There's some people you see in person, like, oh, that's a celebrity. Then there's a few you're like, that's Brad Pitt. And one day Brad Pitt was in New York. He was promoting one of his projects, and I knew he was going to the back of the Ziegfeld movie theater to go into the movie, to sneak into the premiere. And there was a bunch of fans there. I think the word got out that he was going there. And as he was going to the premiere, the fans were going, Brad, Brad, Brad. And he's like, hey, he's smiling as he's trying to like quickly trying to get to the premiere. And I was like, hey, Brad, give me a fist bump. Let me get a fist bump. Give me a fist bump. And he finally he's like, hey, he gives me a fist bump. But then all of a sudden I knew that he wasn't going to stay for the entire premiere. And I was on a bike of all places. And no, I was on a bike and I saw Brad's car. He was staying at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. And I saw his car pulling up to the hotel. And then his car pulled up to the hotel because he didn't stay for the whole premiere. And it didn't move. Like it just sat there, but the windows were up. So I walked up to the window and I said, hey, Brad, the window was up. I go, hey, Brad, can I get a photo with you? I was the only person there. Brad Pitt waves down and goes, yeah, sure, man. Waves down the video, takes this photo with me. It's a very cool photo. I mean, to me, Brad Pitt is the star, but I got a photo of Brad Pitt. Very cool guy. In fact, when he was dating Angelina Jolie, all the paparazzi were outside the Greenwich Hotel, and they were waiting for, when they're in town, that's the only job you work. And they were staying at the hotel at the time. In fact, at that time, they were already having issues. And I was hearing from inside that the two, Brad and Angelina, were actually staying in two different hotel rooms. But the public thought everything was going great together. But I guess publicly, personally, they were having some fights. But publicly, everything was good. But, they went back into the hotel with a bunch of pizza. And then all of a sudden, the paparazzi are outside with the pizza. The paparazzi are waiting outside, just kind of uploading their photos on their computers right outside the Greenwich Hotel where they're staying. And the bodyguards brought down like 3 pies of pizza and go, hey guys, on Brad, and gave us pizza. And I was like, here's a guy who like hates getting photographed, but like understands it's a job. Like he understands the business. And like that little thing, like, hey, give the guys outside extra pizza. And like, it goes a long way. Like, it's just that little thing. It's like, that was cool. Even if it was just nothing or something, like, it just makes you feel a little bit appreciated. I'm seeing on site Paul McCartney. I guess he was at a premiere with Martin Scorsese. It's a premiere for a documentary about the Beatles in the '64. Paul McCartney, I ran into once. He has an apartment in New York City. I won't say where it is, but it's like a very random area because it's such a high traffic area, high walking traffic and high car traffic. So very unique location. But one day I'm at a corner and Paul McCartney walks up in the corner next to me. And I know he doesn't like to take photos. So what I did was, and I'm not proud of it, but I did it. I called the paparazzi and I said, hey, listen, while Paul McCartney's walking around right now, the paparazzi's like racing to get there to get the shots of Paul McCartney walking down the street. Now I'm just trying to walk next to him, trying to keep an eye on Paul so the paparazzi could get the photos. But also I'm trying to stand next to Paul so I could get that photo of me and Paul McCartney walking down the street, and maybe goes, hey, maybe Daily Mail picks up the story. Paul McCartney walking down the street with comedian podcaster Adam Glyn. I mean, that's what I would do because I'm trying to make it myself. But I remember trying to walk by Paul McCartney, tall guy in person, and he also walks so quick. Like I'm not so fast. Paul McCartney, I couldn't even keep up with him walking. In fact, like I started to like jog a little and sort of like, I guess he realized like, all right, this guy is like a fan trying to get a photo, and say, hey man, I don't take photos. Like he like within like 2 minutes, he realized what I was trying to do as far as like maybe asking for a photo of whatnot. And he said, hey man, I don't do photos, but shook my hands like, nice to meet you. And like, just kind of shooed me off. And I kind of let him be, and the paparazzi didn't get the photos. I'll do one more if there's anybody else on Daily Mail. This is kind of fun. Like when I go out to dinner with people, I don't just tell like that my celebrity story. I don't just go through a list. It just kind of, they have questions and it kind of goes hand in hand. And that's how it works. Taylor Swift. Nah, I'll get into Taylor Swift another time. Any other stories? Nikki Bella. I'll tell you a story about Nikki and Brie Bella. I've been dealing with them for a long time. I'm an old school wrestling fan. When I say old school, it's like kind of like during their time. They've always been very nice to me in person. And then like it's weird. Like I've interviewed them at the streets of New York and they'll walk away from me, but they'll interview me as they walk away and try to get to where they're doing. They play the game well when they're being paparazzi video. However, it's but if I see them at a Super Bowl party, they'll hang with me and I'll kind of tell them where to go next and whatnot. But I did get them, and this is not fucked up too. I got them paid each $10,000 to do an Instagram post. They got paid each $10,000 to an Instagram post. I got them for it. There's anybody else who would have taken the deal. In fact, their rep almost said, oh, they deserve more. I'm like, listen, take the 10 grand because I could get someone else who'll do it for 10 grand. They don't need them. I'm giving them an opportunity. So take the 10 grand. The rep said no. But somehow I went directly to them, to Brie. And she's like, yeah, we'll do it, which saved them money because they didn't have to give the rep their cut. So I got them 10 grand each. I said, hey, man, listen, can you guys come on my podcast? Like, I'm not taking a cut. I'm not making money out of this. You guys each made $10,000 to do one stupid Instagram post. And they said they would come on my podcast. And I kept following up the reps. And they just sort of blew us off and they never came on the podcast. And I kind of felt like hurt. I was like, fuck you guys, man. Like, I put money in your pocket. I've invited you guys to get like free facials in New York City, like $1,500, $2,500 worth of like laser facials in New York City. And you guys don't want, like, what are you doing? So I was just kind of butthurt by that, but that's it. All right. But that is our podcast today. Dax will be back eventually, unless he's going to go and extend his vacation, because I feel like that's what he does. Thank you guys for hanging with me. I know it was a random episode today, but hope you guys enjoyed it. We might do a Raw rundown this week. It depends. This is like Thanksgiving week. So it's like, if there's enough good stories, I will do a Raw rundown. If not, we're just going to kind of, or maybe I'll make a short Raw rundown based on the stories of the week. But usually this week is a weird week because Hollywood sort of takes off this week, especially during the month of December. Like, Hollywood does take off during December. So, but we'll figure something out. Thank you guys for watching on the Red Cord Universe. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and give us a good rating, please. That helps us out. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, run it all. Follow our private Facebook group called Off the Record. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. We'll see you guys next time.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.